how to do the NG hum. That's the NG hum. If you want a richer, fuller, warmer sounding voice on the high notes, then the NG hum is going to help you open up that head resonance. And it's the key to really unlocking freedom in those high notes. So when would you use the NG when you're singing? You would use the NG as an ideal warm-up sound, so you can use it on scales anytime you want to target and open up that head resonance. And of course, you could use it on your song melody before you sing, again to help guide you into that head resonance so you're not pushing and reaching for higher notes. Cool? So in this video, you're going to learn how to do that NG hum. But before we get started, subscribe to this channel. On this channel, you're going to find loads and loads of singing tutorials that guide you through the singing process from a singer's perspective. So hello and welcome, I'm vocal coach Dylan, and I've been teaching people to sing now for well over 20 years. Now before we get into that NG, I want to cover 3 types of hum that you may have heard of before. You may have heard of the M hum, as in the word mummy, the N hum, as in the word nose, and of course we're about to do the NG hum, as in the word sing. It's that bit on the end. Cool? Now, why are there these 3 main types? Actually, there's many variations of hum, but these 3 main ones keep cropping up. So what's the difference and how can you use them in singing? The M hum gives you more of a chesty forward quality. The N hum, more of a mixed voice quality, and the NG hum, more of a heady voice quality. And that happens very naturally just by the resonance being in those 3 different places. So let's explore them quickly. Go as in the word mummy. Do you feel the buzzing sort of around here? If you're not sure, chew it a little bit. And you'll feel like a buzzy, a tickly feeling around here somewhere. Now do the N, as in the word nose. So start to say nose, nose, Do you feel the buzzing more around here? So you see, already we've got different sensations of resonance. And that N is more in a kind of mixed voice quality. So we've got the M hum, more chesty, more in the nose area for a mixed voice, and then the NG, sing, it's right back here. Some people feel it sort of there, but definitely everyone feels it, this kind of section of the head. Cool? So quickly run through them. M, N, and NG, and you'll feel that shift. Cool? So that's different sensations of resonance. So how does that sound in the context of singing? Well, like I said, the M hum gives us more that chesty quality, naturally. The N, more of a mix, so it's lighter, and then the NG gives us the lightest quality. And also it guides us really nicely for the higher notes. So I'm going to sing now on the M, the N, and then the NG, so you can hear the difference. So firstly, let's get started with that M hum. But shall we deal with the elephant in the room first? As if by magic, my Rhodes NT1A has appeared. That's because when I did the examples first time round, the overhead mic didn't pick up those subtleties in the voice. So I'm hoping that my Rhodes NT1A, well, I know my Rhodes NT1A will do a much better job. Cool? Maybe I should start working with this a bit more, because at the end of the day, what you hear is crucial on your journey to learning to become a better singer. All right, so another thing here. When I go through the M, the N, and the NG, I'm going to try and keep the singing very clean and very basic so you can really hear how the M hum, the N hum, and the NG hum, where they resonate, the placement of them, how that affects the sound. Because just by resonating in those different places, it sets up the breathing and the vocal folds in a different way. Cool? And at the end of it, I'll just sing it the way I'd sing it. Because what you want to understand about the M, the N, and the NG, and all humming and all trilling and all that sort of stuff, is they're only there to help guide you. They're not actually the end result of singing. For me personally, when I sing, and for all my students, it's about emotion. But the journey to getting there includes M's, N's, NGs, and trills and things like that. They're great for helping getting you back on track if you lose your way. All right, enough of the lecture. Let's do it. Here we go. On the M hum to start with. So that was all the resonance there. I'll do it again. Well, my mama said. That was the M hum. Now the N hum. Well, my mama said. Now the NG. Well, my mama said. Do you hear the difference between the three? So how would I sing it? I would sing it more like this. Well, my mama said. Cool. So that's the three different resonances, the M, the N, and the NG. And you can see how each one gave a slightly different quality to the voice. So it's important when you're using these sounds that you use them all, because each one imparts a different quality, which means there's a slightly different setup in your voice, which translates into having a nice, flexible, open tone, rather than just working the M all the time where you'd get an overly chesty quality. So before we get started on that NG hum, make sure you have a mirror handy. Cool? Or that you're standing near a mirror. All right. Step 1. Say the word sung. Sung. He sung really well the other day. Sung. Sung. You'll go? Cool. Now what we're going to do is hold that NG for longer. That's the bit on the end of the word. Sung. 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 Say it like this if you want. Go sung, sung, sung. And make sure there's good energy in it. You don't want sung, sung. Oh, it's not really doing anything. Sung, 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 sung. Don't worry about the pitch, wherever feels comfortable. All right? So keep having a go at that until you can hold that NG for a whole breath. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now that you can hold that NG for a whole breath, sung. It's time to make sure that our face is nice and relaxed. Cool. Have a listen to this as my face is tense. Sung. When it's relaxed, sung. Cool. And that's why you need that mirror. You want what I call the zombie face. And the zombie face is nice and relaxed. Cool. It's going to look in the mirror. Sung. What does it look more like? Do your eyes look soft and relaxed? Or are they like that, all frantically overthinking and controlling everything? Or are they nice and relaxed? Yeah, you know I'm talking about you. Relax it. If you're going like that and overly concentrating, that's only going to block off your singing. Relax. Sung. Cool. Sung. Use your mirror. Siren. So that's sliding up and down. Sung. Did your face stay nice and relaxed? Or as you went higher, did it sort of start to go sung? Keep it super soft and relaxed. Your face has nothing to do with that pitch. So keep it out of the equation at the minute and keep it relaxed. Sung. Sung. And if you're struggling to do a siren, I'll leave a link in the description box below so you can go and check out the tutorial on that. All right, so now we're sirening through the voice on our NG and everything is nice and relaxed facially. Cool. On to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to pay particular attention to the lips. How are your lips sitting when you're doing that NG? Are they like this? Or are they like this? Or are they more neutral, like this? Have a little play with that. You notice how hugely that affected the sound, and that'll translate straight into your singing too. Little top tip here for you. So if I'm going, well, my mama said, well, my mama said, well, my mama said. Have a little play around with that. You'll notice it has a huge effect on the tone of your voice. So in exactly the same way, it's going to have a huge effect on the quality of your NG. At the moment, we want everything super neutral. So you want So again, use that mirror. Just check what's going on there. All right, keep it nice and soft. Soft zombie face, lips kind of neutral and oval and relaxed. All right, that's that step. Now, I'd love to know how you're finding these steps so far. Which has been the hardest for you? And which one's given you the biggest kind of, ooh, that's interesting. I'm going to apply that to my singing. And let me know if you've noticed some differences. Stick it all in the comments below because I'd love to interact with you and find out how you're finding this exercise. Okay, so the next step is, where do you stick the tip of your tongue? This, on the end there, that is the tip of your tongue. You don't want it going right down into the gum. You want it touching comfortably the back of the bottom front teeth. So like this. Cool? Don't press it firmly into the teeth, just have it resting there. So that's where the tip of the tongue goes. So next step, the back of the tongue. Whereabouts does it sit? Well, those parts there, the back sides of the tongue, not the back side of the tongue, but the back sides of the tongue, should be touching up on the molars at the back there. So the top set of teeth, your top row, on those molars. Top set of teeth. Suppose that makes sense. You get me? So I have it at top back teeth. It kind of covers the top back three there. I'm all over the place with these top back teeth. But you get me. On those molars, all right? You want them on there, on that NG. Cool? So that's a starting point. What I want you to do once we've gone through all the steps is play around with moving the tongue back and forward. And I've got a super top tip at the end of this video about how powerful that actually is. All right, so we've got the tongue up at the back. What you want to make sure is that you don't push the tongue up so hard into those teeth that the tongue locks up and pushes down. Okay, so a top tip here for you, just to make sure that you're not jamming your tongue up into that NG tongue position. Cool, so those back teeth touching the molars, it should be light. So to make sure it's light, take your thumb, run it along your jawbone until it goes into that soft bit under there. And then when the tip of your thumb touches lightly your throat, bring it forward a little bit. Now swallow. As you swallow, there's a point where you're going to feel your thumb just gently melt up into the underside of your tongue. At that point, try and keep that tongue that soft and say sung, sung, sung. It stays soft. If we get sung, 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 that's where I'm pushing hard against the molars. Can you hear the tone change as well? Sung, sung. Cool? So it's important you keep that tongue nice and soft. It's gently in place as opposed to forced in place. All right, groovy. That was a super top tip there for you. You may even notice it when you're sirening and going, sing, and it locks up. All right, on to the next step. Resonance. Where should we feel this NG resonating? Predominantly, you should feel it resonate anywhere from here up and all the way around to the back of your head. Cool. I tend to feel it quite strongly in my ears. Some of my students feel it more up the top. Cool. But anywhere from here upwards, we're going to call that head resonance. Alrighty. So give it a go. Remember earlier on we went through the M, the N, and the NG. Do it again. Feel that's more here. Feel that's more here. Then can you feel it's more sort of round here? So that's what you're doing with that NG. You're encouraging and opening up that head resonance. All right, groovy. So that's where you want that voice resonating. So what I want you to do is just play around a little bit with dropping the jaw, and on those molars, just moving the tongue forward as you drop the jaw, and see if you can really open up that resonance. So that'd be like this. You go sung. So this was me moving the back of my tongue along those teeth at the top there, moving them forward. You notice the sound got really bright and twangy, and then I moved it back and it got fuller and warmer, and I felt more resonance at the back of the head. Cool? None of these positions are right or wrong, they're just variations. But specifically, we want to open up that head resonance, so we're going to try and get the most buzz in the back of the top of the head. Cool? But you could be more sort of twangy sounding if you wanted by bringing the tongue forward more, but experiment with it. As long as the throat feels open and relaxed, it's all good. So you should feel quite relaxed from that zombie face, and making sure that the lips were relaxed too. Were relaxed too. But there's one other dude that can give us jip here. We've also relaxed the tongue now with the thumb under there. The other dude that can give us jip is that jaw. And I want you to see if you can notice a difference, okay? So we're going to do the oh dear face. So you take your hands, put them here, all right? Just clench your teeth together. Do you feel how the muscles push out? You want those muscles to relax. If you swallow again, you'll feel there's a point where it just softens a little. Try and keep them that soft when you're doing your NG. So you go sung, sung. There, I softened under my hands. And did you hear the NG sound changed? Just play around with that a little bit. Okay, so on to that final step. We're going to take the S and the away, so we get as opposed to sung. Cool? Now, on that I like to start it off by thinking the word hung, and what we hear is So you don't want to say hung, you want to say as if you're saying the word hung in your mind. And what we hear is the H and the NG, like this. You can feel that little puff of air if you put it just under your nose. And that little puff of air is going to help you really connect your voice at the beginning of each NG sound that you make, which is going to help intensify that resonance in the back of your head. Groovy, you now know how to do an NG hum. Good job. Okay, and my final top tip for you is, as you siren higher and higher, there's a tendency for the tongue to pull back and the jaw to close. So make sure you use your mirror. But what you can do to counteract that tongue pulling back is just slide them along those top teeth a little bit more. So the back of your tongue, slide it forward a little as you go higher, and you'll notice the resonance stays far more open. Okay, so it'd be like this. Sung. So if you'd like me to help you on your singing journey, I've got a really cool course on how to sing where I go into this kind of detail and quite a bit more to make sure that you understand exactly how to build and use your singing voice. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then go and check it out in the description box below.